All right, let's try this one out. We're on page 55 to 57 of Math 6A Singapore Math Workbook or textbook. So the idea is to express one quantity as a percentage of the other. And the problem is Suman has $400, or no, $400, sorry, not percent. And Mehua has $500. So this is Suman and Mehua. Express Suman as a percentage, or express Mehua's as a percentage of Suman's. All right, so Mehua's as percentage of Suman's. Okay. I need to express how much money Mehua has as some kind of percentage of Suman's. Now, I think that this question is probably a little bit more familiar to you if I'm expressing the smaller number as a percentage of the bigger number. For example, if I had 25, or if I had $10 and I wanted to talk about 50% of that, that would be $5, right? But in this case, I'm taking the smaller number or the bigger number and I'm expressing it as a percentage of a smaller number. So what my initial gut reaction would be to say is, well, this is going to be over 100%, because 100% of 400 is 400, and 500 is more than 400, so it's going to be bigger than 100%. Does that make sense? All right, so let's try this one. I know that my percentage is, let's see, what would the best way to be doing this? Okay, here we go. A percentage is always how much you have divided by how much 100% is. So Mehua has $500 over, and we're considering Suman to be what 100% is, so over $400. Does that make sense? All right, so if we were to divide this, this would be
Daddy,
0. All right, cross these out.
Daddy, I put poo in the potty.
Did you?
Yes.
Good job.
Now I'm gonna get the candy.
Okay, wait, I'm recording a video over here. Go to the living room. Go get your candy.
I'm not baker. You're baker.
Okay, wait, I'm finishing this, okay, Griffin?
Okay.
Okay, go outside and go close the door.
Okay. Don't grab me yet.
All right, so you got 5 over 4. What is 5 divided by 4? Okay, well, I guess the best way to do it is this can go 4 can go into 5 one time at least. All right, and then I'm going to put 4 down here. I'm going to do a subtraction, and I'm going to put a 0 here. I'm going to put a decimal here, decimal here. And I'm going to add some extra zeros just in case I need them. How many times can 4 go into 10? 2 times. So that becomes an 8 because 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract down here 2, drop down this 0. How many times can 4 go into 20? 5 times. So my answer is 1.25. Now that's the number 1.25, but if I want to express that as a percentage, you move this decimal place 2 times to the right. So we're talking about 125%. That's the answer. Now I think that's, I mean, like I told you, that would be over 100%. It makes perfect sense to me because, I mean, think about this. if you have 400, then we know that it's going to be over 100%, right? How much over 100%? Well, 100% of 400 is 400, so it's $500 is $100 more. And if you take 400 and you divide it by 4, or if you want 25% of 400, that's $100. So that's why you have 100 and a additional 25%. So one way you could say it is Mehua has 25% more than Suman, or you can say Mehua has 125% of Suman's money. All right. Now let's do it the other way. Express Suman's answer or Suman's savings as a percentage of Mehua's. All right. So now what we want is Suman as a percentage of Mehua's. Suman as percent of Mehua's. All right. So that would be how much I have, 400, divided by how much I consider 100% to be. And apparently 100% in this case is 500. Because Mehua is the 100%, and Suman is the percentage that I'm trying to express it as. So you know that this number is not going to be over 100%. It's actually going to be less than 100%. This is probably something you're more familiar with than the other one, than the first problem we did. All right. We just got to do the math for this. This is equal to 4 over 5. Those zeros cancel. The best way to do this would probably be to do long division again. So I have the 4 that's being divided by the 5. 5 can't go into 4 anytime, so I'm going to add a decimal place. I'm going to add a 0. And I'm going to ask myself, how many times can 5 go into 40? Oh, 8. So this is equal to 0.8, which expressed in percentage, that's 80%. Because I take this decimal place and I move him 2 times to the right, and that gives me 80%. So how much is Suman's savings? It's 80% of what Mehua has. I hope that makes sense. And I think that what's really interesting about this one is, in the previous problem, Mehua had 25% more. Whereas in this problem, Suman has 20% less. And I got 20% less because 100% minus 80% is 20%. I think that initially you would say that, oh, Suman has 25% less than Mehua. But remember, we're using different numbers here, so you can't just assume that that's all the same numbers. All right, let's finish off these last 4 problems, and then we'll conclude this video. What percentage is of $3 is 30 cents? Okay, so 30 cents is 30 cents. $3 is how many cents? It's 300 cents. So now I just got to figure out what the percentage of this. All right, fine. One of these zeros cancel, so I've got 3 over 30. And then I got to say, well, how many times can 30 go into 3? Keep in mind that most of the time, like I said, most of the time we're expressing a smaller number as a percent of the bigger number. 300 is the bigger number, 30% is the smaller number, or 30 cents is the smaller number. So most of the time, how many times can 30 go into 3? The answer is none. It can't go any times. Most of the time, it won't go any times because you're talking about a percentage, and usually a percentage is smaller than 100%. It doesn't need to be. It's just that's the way I'm most familiar with seeing it. So you'll probably have a 0 here first, and then you put a decimal here, 0. How many times can 30 go into 30? Well, 1 time. So the answer is 0.1. but expressed as a percentage, that's 10%. So if you have $3 and you take 10% of that, that's going to be 30 cents. This stuff is really useful and good to have in mind if you want to talk about like percent tipping. Like if you have a $3 bill or a $3 charge and you want to figure out how much money you leave for tip because you are at a restaurant or something like that and you decide only to leave 10% tip, you got to figure out exactly how much that is. Oh, okay, that's 30 cents. So you better leave $3.30 on the table. All right. Express 300 milliliters as a percentage of 2 liters. All right, 300 milliliters is that, but 2 liters, 1 liter is actually 1,000 liter or 1,000 milliliters, and so 2 liters is 2,000 milliliters. Okay, we can reduce that. That's pretty easy. These cancel. So I've got 3 over 20. Now I guess I'll ask, how many times can 20 go into the number 3? And as you would expect, since I have a bigger number divided by, or a smaller number divided by a bigger number, this first thing is going to be 0. 20 can't go into 3 any amount of times. But I'll add a decimal here, a decimal there, add an extra 0, and I can add as many zeros as I want because 3 is the same as 3.0 is the same as 3.00 is the same as 3.0000 and forever, and so on and so forth. So I can just keep going with that. Let's see. How many times can 3 go into 30? At least 1 time. I'll put a 20 out here. Drop this down. I have a 1 and a 0 here. Yeah. And then how many times? I'll put an extra 0 down here. How many times can 20 go into 100? 5 times. So my answer is 0.15, also known as 15%. Yep, that's it. So 300 milliliters is actually 15% of 2 liters. Okay, let's try this one. Express 1.35 meters as a percentage of 90 centimeters. Okay, so I have 1.35 meters divided by 90 centimeters. Now, I can express 90. I can do this in 2 ways. I can say 1.35 meters is actually 135 centimeters divided by 90 centimeters. Or I could go 1.35 meters divided by 0.9 meters. Either one is correct, and either one will give you the same answer and the correct answer. The only difference, though, is that which one is easier to deal with. You need to make sure that if you have meters up on top, you have meters on the bottom, and vice versa. I'm going to go with this one. Centimeters on top, centimeters on the bottom. How many times can 90 go into 135? Now remember, notice we're doing the bigger number divided by the smaller number, so there's probably going to be a 1 out in front here. How many times can 90 go into 135? Well, I know that it can go in at least 1 time. So there's a 90 here. So I subtract down, so this is 5. 13 minus 9 is 4. And I'm done there. I have to add an extra 0. Drop down to that 0. How many times can 90 go into 450? 5 times. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. So 9, 90 times 5 is 450.